What inspires me to write? I guess I used to tell stories on my feet when I worked as an actor, and my inspiration to write was really when I stopped acting. And I stopped acting because I had a second child, and it was very difficult to be out on the road in the back of a van touring with a theatre company, and it was very, very natural for me then just to sit at my desk and tell stories with the written word. After Before I Die was finished, I was a bit overwhelmed because it was out in the world and it was my first book. I'd been commissioned to write a second book, and I found, although it's a gift to have somebody commission a second book, I find it very difficult because suddenly I owed somebody a book and I actually didn't have a clue what it was going to be about. So I did feel the pressure of that, and people kept asking me about it. They kept saying, how's the second book going? What's the second book about? Are you excited to be writing a second book? And all I could think of was, I actually don't know what it's going to be about, and I've only just begun, and I'm supposed to be handing it in 18 months. So there was an awful lot of pressure, and people kept saying the words, difficult second album to me, as if that was going to help. I start projects without an idea of what they're about, and although I do study the world in a very energetic way, I suppose, for ideas for stories, I think I also have certain tropes which tend to seep in, and there doesn't seem to be anything I can do about it. If I tried to write a book about somebody doing nothing except walking down the road and tying up their shoelace, you can bet that something terrible would happen, because terrible things keep happening in my books. So I guess I look for inspiration everywhere in a very energised way, but I think also all writers just have things that they're trying to say all their lives and will just keep getting into their books. Flying. That's a really difficult question, because I could say the book that I loved reading when I was a kid, I loved reading this book called Z for Zachariah by Robert C. O'Brien, because it absolutely transported me from my sofa where I was sitting to somewhere else, and I didn't know that that could happen when you read a book. But I wouldn't, although I'd recommend it, it wouldn't be the book I think everybody should read. I think everybody should read, full stop, and whatever you pick is the right thing to be reading. If I wasn't a writer, I really want to say I'd be a ballerina, but clearly that's rubbish. That's what I always wanted to be, though. I would probably go back to acting. I would say my best tip is read. Read, 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 and always carry a notebook and never leave the house without it, and watch the world in a very energetic way for stories, and give your stuff to other people to read, and never give up. I wish I'd written Philip Pullman's trilogy. My favourite desktop snack, I actually never eat at my desk because you get crumbs in the keyboard, but my favourite desktop drink is a strong cup of coffee. I'm kind of quite eclectic with films and books and music. I tend not to have a genre that I really like. I saw a film the other day which is called Up, which is brilliant. Matt or Rebecca, because Aidan should have done and he's out.